Will everyone please stand and salute the flag and have a brief moment of silence?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Allison, will you please do the roll call?
Yes, and this will be for the sitting members only. Ms. Jobe? Here. Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Shearer? Here. And Mr. Metrosky?
Here. Four
All
present.
four present.
Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, I have Judge Shearer from the Westmoreland County Court of Common Pleas. He's here to read the election certificate that each of our new members, and I'll provide a copy of each member after the meeting, issued by the Elections Department for the Westmoreland County. Judge Shearer, if you would please proceed with reading the certificate and administering the oath. Thank you.
First of all, welcome. Welcome to be here. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to do this swearing-in ceremony. You know, the members of the school board, previously elected members and newly elected members, it's quite a job you're entrusted with to take care of those people that serve our community, both as educators, administrators, citizens that fund it, and the students that you're responsible for their education. It's a challenging task, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and I'm sure the voters have spoken and you're well equipped for this charge. I'll read the first one, and then the names. It's a similar certificate for everyone. The names will follow. It's in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, County of Westmoreland. The certificate of election reads as follows. We, the undersigned members of the County Board of Electors of said county, hereby certify that after tabulating the votes cast at the municipal election held on the 7th day of November 2023 in said county, it appears that Frank James Gazzi was duly elected officer in the office of school director at large for a term of 4 years in Greensburg, Salem, as was Robin McCaddock Savage, Brian Conway, Tyler Courtney, Casey Fern Hauser, all 4-year terms. I'd ask those individuals if they please stand and raise their right hand. And I would ask you all to repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations, you're all sworn. And good luck under the leadership of President Metrosky.
Judge, thank you for sharing your time with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Always
Good luck,
good,
everybody.
always good to see you.
Thank you, I appreciate it,
Hey,
thank you.
Judge, if you could talk to the one in the yellow shirt, I'd like him to go to St. Vincent's with us and be a Bearcat.
Oh,
Here, it's not happening too much, but
I'm not thinking about that, how my kids never went there either. Hey, good luck.
thanks.
Thank you.
See you, Judge.
Okay, so at this point, I would like to call for nominations for a temporary president of the board.
I nominate Jeff Metrosky.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second for Metrosky. Any other nominations?
Motion to close nominations.
There's a motion to close nominations.
Second?
Second. Let's do a roll call, Allison.
Ms. Bernhauser?
Here. Is that what it is?
No, you have to say yes or no for Mr. Metrosky.
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Gazy?
Yes.
Ms. Jobe?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer,
Yes.
and Mr. Petrosky.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, thank you. So, at this point, I would like to make a motion.
You'll announce that you're open for nominations for president of the board.
I
For
nominate.
permanent president of
That
the
is
board.
correct.
So let's have motions for permanent president of the board.
Nominate.
I nominate Jeff Matrosky.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for Matrosky. Any other nominees? Any other nominees?
I nominate Lynn Joe.
There's a motion to nominate Lynn Joe. Is there a second?
I respectfully decline, although I do believe I am very qualified. It is simply not the time for me to do that. I appreciate your nomination.
So that motion failed. Third time. Any other nominations before I close?
Motion to close nominations?
Motion to close nominations. Is there a second? Second? Okay, let's do a roll call on this one. There's a motion to elect Jeff Matrosky as president of the board, effective December 4th, 2023.
Mr. Conway,
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Courtney.
Yes.
Mr. Gazy,
Yes.
Ms. Joe,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer,
Yes.
Mrs. Brunhauser,
Yes.
Mr. Matrosky.
Yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
thank you. And to the board, thank you for entrusting me with this for the third year. I'll reiterate what my predecessor always said. We all have an equal say and an equal share. No one vote weighs any heavier than another vote.
May I make a comment?
You may.
Thank you, Jeff, for serving and your time, and I would like to make a plea to make a concerted effort to be more welcoming to the public when they speak. I think as our leader, that you can do a great job in trying to pull people and make them feel more welcome.
Well, I'll keep that. I'll consciously try to make a point of that.
Thank you.
Sure. So now we move on to nominations for vice president.
I'd like to
Nominate Robin
nominate
Savage.
Rob. Second.
So there's a nomination for, and a second for Robin Savage. Do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations? For a third time, any other nominations?
Motion to close nominations. Second.
There's a motion and a second to close nominations. Can we go into the roll call now for this? So this is a roll call to elect Robin Savage as permanent
Do we
vice
need to
president.
vote to close the nominations first?
No, you guys didn't do that.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So let's do a roll call for Robin.
Sorry.
Okay. Mr. Courtney,
Yes.
Mr. Gazy,
Yes.
Ms. Joe,
No,
Mrs. Miller,
Aye.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer,
Yes.
Mrs. Bernhauser,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Mr. Matrosky.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-1.
That's it. So let's go on to the solicitor. Dr. Bissell?
Recommend approval to appoint the firm Meyer Dara as district solicitor at a monthly retainer of $1,100, which will cover all routine matters, the board discussion meetings, and regular school board meetings, and an hourly rate of $110 for litigation matters, student discipline matters, real estate matters, labor matters, certain special financial matters, and extraordinary problems. Specially assigned labor counsel will be billed at a rate of $150 per hour.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Please roll call.
Mr. Gazy,
Yes.
Ms. Joe?
No.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Bernhauser?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Metrosky?
Yes.
Motion passes 8 to 1.
Congratulations, Counselor.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
So, recommend adoption of Robert's Rules of Order as the board's procedural rules.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Recommend approval of the 2024 board meeting calendar, and hereby directs and authorizes the secretary of the board to advertise the meetings, dates, and times in accordance with Section 421 of the PA School Code.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
We don't need 2.3.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we can make a
Thank
motion
you.
we can make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. So, let's move on to the Monday, December 4th board voting meeting. We're going to stand and salute the flag and have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Allison, will you do the new roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Bernhauser? Mr. Conway?
Here.
Mr. Courtney?
Here.
Mr. Gazy?
Here.
Ms. Joe?
Here.
Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Savage?
Here.
Mrs. Shearer?
Here.
Mr. Metrosky?
Here.
All board members are present.
Okay, Dr. Bisson.
Okay, I would like to call for a recess for a very brief executive session to allow the whole new board to discuss a couple of personnel items that are on the agenda. Before we break for that recess, I would like to address a situation here in the district. Last week, I released a statement to our parents and the community about an ongoing investigation in one of our elementary schools. I want to state here for our parents and community that the administration and I are working hard to maintain the integrity of the ongoing investigation. The administration, the Westmoreland County Children's Bureau, the City of Greensburg Police, and the Westmoreland County District Attorney's Office are working to ensure the investigation is complete. The district will share information at the right time with the guidance of the investigating team. So I want parents to please know and understand that we will do everything to ensure our children are cared for and address any incident with fidelity and integrity. Our primary focus is our children and making sure we do everything to maintain their safety, security, and a sense of belonging in our schools and community. So I wanted to make sure that that was stated publicly. So at this time, I'd like to call for a brief recess. We can talk about those couple of personnel items.
We have a brief executive session regarding personnel. Informational items, let's go around.
Mr. President, I have two.
Yes.
First off, I got a message today that one of our former employees with Greensburg-Salem has passed away. Mr. Dale Hassinger, who was a health and physical education teacher, passed away yesterday afternoon. He was a teacher at the middle school. He was a high school baseball coach and football coach. Not only did he serve the district, he also served the community. I know the family well. I'm going to tear up. Sorry. He also served his community in many capacities. He was the fire chief of Southwest Greensburg. He was a board council member of Southwest Greensburg. He was also the mayor of Southwest Greensburg. He also served as a board member of Mutual Aid. There wasn't a time that Mr. Hassinger did not serve the district, his students, or the community he lived in. Details haven't been said, but the family, he has two children that are no longer in the district, but Mr. Hassinger resided out in Scottsdale with his son Bobby, and Debbie is coming back from North Carolina. So if we can make, when the arrangements come forward, I will share them with you if any of the board wants to do anything or show up for Mr. Hassinger. On a later note, we had two students from Greensburg-Salem. It was in the paper, but if some of you didn't see it, Jack Brentzel, he's an 8th grader. He's a middle school student here at Greensburg-Salem. And we have a recent 2023 graduate of Greensburg-Salem and a CWCTC graduate. She graduated in cosmetology, and her name's Aubrey Lochner. They are both in Las Vegas right now competing at the PBR, Professional Bull Riders Association, and they are in the Junior World Finals in Las Vegas. And they are out of 800 that were asked to come compete in it. So in the words of every rodeo, cowboy up, boys and girls, and let's go get it and hold on for 8 seconds. So that'll be December 7th, so keep an eye out for that and wish them the best. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yep.
Yes, Emily.
I wanted to congratulate the high school band. There were 8 students that got into the Fay West Honors Band. Nikki, Allison, Ari, Kylie, Jacob, Callie, Lex, and Grace all got into the Honors Band. So that's, congratulations to them. And then also over the weekend, the wrestling team went to their very first tournament. It's a Southwest Classic up in New Kensington, and quite a few of them placed. So we had 2 students place second out of the tournament, Ethan Miller and Jacob Geary. So, but all of them, they pinned their way through the tournament. So a lot of them did a really excellent job. So congratulations to the wrestling team.
I would throw out, this is mostly for the new board members, you may not be familiar, but one of our science teachers, Mrs. Redinger, does a critter cruise. It's a very nice event. We get to meet all the animals and walk through it. I believe it's on the 15th.
It's the 15th at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
They were sent invitations.
So I would encourage you to join that because it's a great event, and a lot of community members come out for that.
I have something.
Yes.
This Friday, I do believe it starts at 6. Hutchinson Elementary is having their light up night.
It's amazing.
And
it's
along
nice.
with all of Southwest Greensburg, there's going to be something at the fire hall. There, I think Santa will be at the Civic Center. There's going to be things all throughout Southwest, and Southwest has some pretty good Christmas lights, just saying.
Is that the 6th?
It is. It's this Friday. So
The
they'll have the 8th.
The 8th.
What time does it start?
I want to say it starts at 6.
6.
They have cookie decorating, meet Santa.
I went last year. It was really nice.
So they pumped it up.
Anyone else before I steal the spotlight?
Go for it.
Well, before Thanksgiving, I had the pleasure of hosting 2 educators, one our own Jackie Uhas at Dora Middle for Teacher in the Workforce Day. And this is an initiative by the Westmoreland Fayette Workforce Development Organization or Corporation? Board. Thank you. To enlighten our educators on the careers in the trades. Now, in my line of business, it's precision machining, but they're also doing that with HVAC, carpentry, plumbing. Help me out, Mrs. Savage, with some other careers.
Oh, they do the carpentry, they do mason, did you say masonry?
No.
It's all the construction trade skills, and they're actually doing some with robotics and machine trades.
Well, they got to spend about an hour each with 3 or 4 different experienced operators, and we're able to ask them questions about their job and their career and how they got to where they are. So I think it's a great initiative. I was involved in that for 3 or 4 years now, so. And Jackie's A-OK.
Thank you.
Discussion and action on board minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Did we skip?
Oh, yes. We didn't have anyone sign up. Thank you. We did not have anyone sign up for talking tonight on agenda items. But you all will have an opportunity at the end to talk if you wish. Any presentations tonight, Doc?
Not tonight.
Okay. Financial matters.
Everything will be in January's meeting.
Looking forward to it. No new business either?
No new business either.
Federal programs? Nothing. Keep it going. Outside board reports. Robin, Central Westmoreland.
The Central Westmoreland CTC administrators, Justin Lucia, Alex Novikov, and Donna Rain Odell just presented at the Visions ACT conference in Las Vegas. They presented last year. They presented on a Saturday. So when you present on a Saturday, there's not a lot of people there. This year they were asked to present on the first day of the conference, and they presented on how CTC is developing, and I'm going to use an acronym, but I'll explain it, OVR, and how they're helping their students with occupational vocational rehabilitation. We had people in the room from Hawaii that it's amazing how different from one state to another, how they help their students that have an IEP and get them developed more into the workforce. So it was a very well-received presentation. They have lots of questions, and we're hoping that we'll be asked back for year 3 to see what the next step of crossing the bridge in OVR that we did. And Saturday morning, if you don't have anything to do and you still have time to register, the CTC will host their Breakfast with Santa Claus. Every program will have an event for students to participate. It's $12 for adults, $9 for students to come and have breakfast with Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus. The Grinch, the cosmetology will be doing updos from Whoville. Culinary will be making cookies. We have a whole bunch of activities planned. So if you haven't registered and you see it, well, we welcome the public, and you can register online.
Thank you.
Robin, when's the reorg meeting?
December 14th is also the reorg, if you haven't turned in your RSVP to be present for the dinner on the 14th. And that's always a nice event.
Very
so
nice.
if the new board members, Casey, I don't know if you got yours, and Tyler, it's a nice event.
If you can attend, it's very nice. Westmoreland Intermediate Unit, Heather. Nothing. Greensburg-Salem Education Foundation, Lynn.
Yes, on Friday, the foundation will be serving coffee and bagels at all the schools to the faculty as a sign of their appreciation for their dedication and hard work.
Okay. Brian, Greensburg Community Development Corp.
We haven't had a meeting since our last board meeting, so nothing new to report. We will have our next meeting this coming Monday. So hopefully we'll have something to report in January.
No committee reports?
Now, won't we have to move forward with committees in January?
We will. We have to.
I will get everybody a list of dates that we will set aside.
Don't we have to with new board members?
Board members,
You have to see.
Yes.
Reorg for committees. If there's an interest in the committees, you'll have to reorg.
Yes. Yeah, and then we will also have a list of all the dates for next year.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Legal counsel.
No report.
All right. Floor is yours, Doc.
Okay. All appointments are pending governmental clearances, medical testing, and documentation where necessary. Under 9.1, recommend approval to grant tenure to the following professional employee. Number 1, without reading.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Under 9.2, recommend approval to hire the following individual for the interim administrative position listed from January 1st, 2024 through March 8th, 2024. David Zilli, interim athletic director and transitional administrator, $516.08 per day.
Do we have a motion? Going once? Going twice? Okay, that fills.
I would like to recommend that we approve Mr. Zilli, Mr. David Zilli, as the interim athletic director from January 1st, 2024 through March 8th, 2024, or until we get a replacement athletic director at a daily rate of $326 per day.
So moved.
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call on that one.
Ms. Job?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Bernhauser?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Gazy?
Yes.
Mr. Metrosky?
Yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
thank you.
Okay, recommend approval to hire the following individuals for the support staff positions listed with compensation set per board policy for administrative assistants, classroom instructional assistants, and nurse assistants. Number 1 is Kara Hish, and number 2, Sarah Stedman.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call on this hire, please.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Bernhauser?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Gazy?
Yes.
Ms. Job?
Yes.
Mr. Metrosky?
Yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
thank you.
9.4, supplementals. Recommend approval to hire the following individuals for the supplemental positions listed at the rates negotiated in the contract with GSEA or otherwise set by the board. Numbers 1 and 2 without reading.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Athletics, recommend approval to hire the following individuals for the athletic positions listed at the supplemental rates negotiated in the contract with GSEA or otherwise set by the board. 1 and 2 without reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
9.6, substitutes. Recommend approval to hire the following individual as a substitute for the district. Number 1 without reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
In our bus driver list, recommend approval of the following additions to the bus drivers and support personnel for DMJ Transportation, Inc. for the 2023-2024 school year. Number 1 without reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, under finance, budget resolution, recommend approval to adopt the attached budget resolution as per Act 1 guidelines indicating that Greensburg-Salem School District will not exceed the Act 1 index of 6.9% for the 2024-2025 budget year.
So moved.
Second.
Can we talk about this? for 1
Motion and a
second?
second, yes.
I don't see the attachment online, but I did read it when you emailed it to us, but can we get the attachment put on there?
Yes.
For reference? Thank you. That's it.
So which attachment are you referring to?
It says per the attachment.
Per the attachment, okay.
Yeah, there's no attachment there, but she did email it out, so we did review it.
Okay, so let's do a roll call on this one, Allison.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Mrs. Shearer?
Yes.
Ms. Bernhauser?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Mr. Gazy?
Yes.
Ms. Job?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Metrosky?
Yes,
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay.
Non-resident tuition, recommend approval for non-resident tuition paid student number 2324-0001 to be enrolled in Greensburg-Salem School District effective December 5th, 2023, per Board Policy 202, eligibility of non-resident students.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
16.1 gymnasium facility usage. Recommend to approve the elementary boys basketball teams to use the high school gymnasium on Saturday, December 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And 16.2, recommendation to approve the Greater Greensburg Athletics South Greensburg Recreation Baseball to use the Nicely multipurpose room, middle school gym, and high school gym on various dates and times from January 3rd through March 25th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Our next board discussion meeting will be held 7 p.m. January the 3rd, 2024, in the Administrative Staff Development Room. Our next board voting meeting will be held January the 10th, 7 p.m., right here in the John N. Scales Legislative Room.
Any comments or questions from the audience tonight? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. I don't know if I was motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Merry Christmas, everyone.
Okay.